The following is a presentation of iRacing on PTR TV. We'd like to thank all of our channel partners for their support. Please like and subscribe to the channel, and we hope you enjoy today's broadcast. Built in 1997, the famous D-shaped oval in Fontana held racing for approximately 25 years. Towards the end of its lifespan, became a fan and driver favorite with about 5 lanes worth of action and a decaying surface that caused tons of tire fall off and slipping and sliding. Unfortunately, it is now in shambles and indecision process to whether or not it'll turn into a short track. But at the end of a season with only 2 races left in a championship in our grasp here, let's figure out who's going to be going for it here with the penultimate race of the season here at Auto Club. Welcome everybody to PTR TV for today's coverage of the Area Truck Series. It is the playoffs. It is the round of 8. It is the race to decide who's going to be going for a championship. It's going to be myself, Corey Silva, in the booth, and I got to update my graphic really quick because we had a little change of plans in the booth. Mr. Hunter is going to do double duty. He's going to do Thursdays as well as tonight with me for some truck action. You said you really enjoy this place, Hunter. It's going to be a crazy race, and we have a lot on the line with it.
Yeah, there's a lot that's going into this one. I mean, we've already got one winner down. That being Sebastian Marin. Actually, he's not a playoff driver. He was dominant in the Truck Series a year ago. He decided to dip last week into the trucks, won that. Took a win away from Jake Nichols, who sits second in the truck standings, and he'll be chasing for a cup title next Monday. But him and Seth Knoll are looking to also chase the truck title, trying to lock their way into the field for next week here at Auto Club. It was a fun race last night. The one thing I will say though about the cup side of things, the dominant car never really won, but I can't really say that about the trucks here. The last 2 times we've been there, James Skylerly and John Hall both won. They both led 61 laps. However, back in season 2, Blake Giglio led only 3 laps en route to his victory, and with a race-winning move can be made with around 10 to go. 2 times it's happened on the last lap back in season 5. John Hall took the lead with 10 to go, didn't look back, but I'm interested in seeing what's going to happen here with Garrett Conrath. He missed last week's race from what did he miss last week's race? Yeah, so he dropped all the way down to the bottom of the standings, and he is a whopping 31 points outside the cut line, possibly going to need to win unless the whole field can wreck. But looking at our track history, I mean, it's possible. We average about 6 yellows here at Auto Club for the trucks, so it's not totally out of the picture. We usually don't get too many late race yellows, but it has happened in the past. But he's going to be possibly in a must-win spot, most likely.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with him and a few of other of those drivers. Of course, 4 will transfer in for the Charlotte finale, which will be next week. But someone can, of course, do that winning in and lock themselves into the race, or somebody else can also just kind of steal it and make 4 drivers go in on points. And we're taking a look here at our graphic, and I think everyone's here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 right there on the first sheet. I think everybody is here. We may or may not be missing somebody, but we'll see what happens. I did ask Jacob, and it's kind of inferred that this is going to be at least on the back end of the race, Hunter. It's going to be kind of be, as I call, Daytona Junior. A lot of pack racing drafting. As you said, the Cup Dominator didn't necessarily win the race. First half of the race might be slipping and sliding. Got to get yourself in position for when things grip up towards the end of the race.
Yeah, this track is going to be really abrasive with the tires because, as you mentioned, in its lifespan, it never got a repave. So this is the original surface that they had back in 1997, possibly when they paved it for 1998, their first ever year of operation. But the bumps are really going to be bad. The backstretch, it's really, really bad. And then from Solar Flare Racing last night, they mentioned that a lane below the turn 3 entry, that's where the bump is really, really, really bad, like the worst of them all, from what I was told last night. So that'll be interesting to look at. And it's Auto Club. It's a very wide racetrack. I saw guys go 3 wide and 4 wide often through the corners. They like to use the outside lane though for the good portion of the event. If you weren't on the outside lane in the Cup car, you were going nowhere in a hurry. Everyone was flying by on the outside, so I feel like it might be a little different in the truck, where you mentioned we could see some Daytona Junior-esque racing, some super speedway style racing where these guys are bumper to bumper.
Yeah, we'll see what happens later in the race there, but for now, qualifying is on order right now, and I mean, I guess debatably we'll see how much qualifying actually means into the scope of the race, because of course, if it is going to be a situational based race, getting yourself in the right place at the right time, maybe you want to be in the back, maybe you want to preserve your truck in case some interesting events do occur here. Jeremy Miller, I think he's going to be the first one to take some time and get his time on the board here. Let's kind of get a par level of where things stand. A 41.64 for Jeremy. 18 of Nico Servideo is going to come in the second in terms of getting a time in there. At 8, here comes Josh Ballier, and I think Timmy Pacioli, that's one to watch out for. He's trying to get his championship picture solidified.
Yeah, it's really interesting where the winners are going to come, because last night the winner came from 25th. That was James Skyerly, who, by the way, back against the wall, was also dead last in points, needed a win to get in, did just that. So if you're a Conrad fan in the fan club, good on you if you're superstitious about that. But yeah, the winner can... I mean, it can come from anywhere. The past couple of seasons we were here, it came from 3rd, but Blake Giglio, like I mentioned, season 2, he only led 3 laps. He started all the way back in 34th, so it's really about survival. We saw in the second half where it turned into a little bit of a bloodbath for the Cup guys, especially with the Championship 4 spot on the line, but we'll see what the trucks have in store. Casey Licata's 5th quickest, and Pacioli on the top of the chart with a 41.585.
Exactly that. I think Garrett Conrath getting his lap time in here, and what will he muster? A 63. That should put him, I think, 3rd. Actually, that lap didn't register. I wonder if he made some wall contact there, because that lap did not register for him. Gary Waterworth, he is going to be the next one to take some time in that 609 Motorsports Silverado. Going all the way down to the flat here, about 6 lanes worth of pavement that these drivers will be using. That lap won't be one that he is too happy with. 65 truck coming by soon, as well as still waiting for some heavy hitters. Brian Mercurio, our points leader, he's starting his lap this time by.
Yeah, Mercurio, I think we can safely say that he's locked in via just points alone. He's got over actually 46 points to the good, unless he wants to intent wreck someone and then get suspended for it and do everything possible in the wrong direction. Then that could be a possibility where he doesn't make it. But he seems like he's got pretty good points gap. Could see him try some different strategies out. Jake Nichols coming across the stripe, looking to dethrone Pacioli. Won't be enough. He'll be very close, though. P2 on the board.
Caden Diedrich here. I'm going to assume this lap was an intentional slow on the park last. We did have a myriad of EOLs that we will go over in due course here. Who was another one to watch? Travis Beckner. I think, if memory serves where he stands, he's probably going to be a winning in. But let's see what he can muster. Course 1 Bristol. And this round hasn't been as favorable, at least the one race we did do, but a 67. That should put him right in the hornet's nest.
Yeah, Travis Beckner only 12 points out. There's Mason Kane as well. Actually, those two are the only guys with experience in the trucks at this track. Mason Kane, eighth quick. That's pretty good for him. He enters tonight 10 points below the cutoff line. But yeah, going back to that, Beckner finished third in season 2. That was his best finish at this track. And then Mason Kane ran in season 5, where he came up one spot short of reaching victory lane. So gotta have a little bit of confidence if you're Mason Kane. I mean, you are in somewhat of a hole with points, 10 points out, but as long as you're inside the top 10, keep it clean truck, you'll be in a good position at the very end.
Yeah, that's indeed the case there. And I will say, Hunter, this race is 95 laps, which it's a 2-mile track. Math is pretty easy on that. 95 laps. So is that 190 miles? Put myself on the spot right there. So this is for a truck series race. I would say on the longer end of it. So that will have to come into play. Of course, strategy, tire wear, fuel mileage, always a big factor here at Auto Club. Of course, just depends how those cautions fall.
Yeah, like I said, we do average about 6 yellows. There are a good bit of lead changes with around 17 per race. This race can go on a little bit long with about hour 20 minutes on, but 95 laps, it's going to be a test for these truckers and what they can do to not only survive but to have different pit strategies, because I mean, it's obviously that tires are going to be very important. It's a very abrasive surface. The track temp for last night's race started out at around 130 degrees, but as the race went on, the track temperature went down. We're already seeing it go down here at 122.
Yeah, 3 o'clock virtual time here, so probably, as you said, about 120 minutes, about 2 hours, and we are racing out of today's actual date in the sim, which is July 22nd, so the lights will not even come on under any condition unless this thing red flags for rain, which, as we know, is not physically possible. But I want to thank everyone for tuning in here to PTR TV. If it's the first time, don't make it your last. Hit the like and subscribe button on our mission to 1,800 subscribers, and would love to get there with a little bit of help from you guys. And if you're watching on Twitch, consider subscribing and following on Twitch. If you subscribe, you can get spend $5 a month. You can get double points, and you can redeem them for free merch and get yourself some cool emotes in the process. So help all of our partners out, and the partners will all flash by on the bottom of your display here. But it looks like we're going to run this out for a warm-up session. Interestingly enough, Hunter, I don't know how they were in the Cup race. Seems, from what we're seeing, everyone gravitating middle bottom. Do you think as the tires wear that we'll start kind of rim riding this place?
Yeah, I kind of expect that to be the main frame here. It seemed like that was the trend towards the Cup race, where if you weren't on the outside, you were in a very bad spot. Don't do that if you're a playoff driver. That would not be smart, especially if you're Travis Beckner. But yeah, the outside lane, it's typically the lane that most guys want to be in, but oh lordy. there were some guys who they were mired back in traffic, and because of how wide this track is, they were able to go from either the fifth groove all the way up near the wall, or the fourth, the third, the second, or the first groove. Basically, some guys that were able to find clean air throughout the turns and were able to make up some ground via just running the different lines here. There's so many different options that you can choose from, not only in the corners, but also on the straightaways, although it would be very risky to do that. Just to try and get a better arc for the turn, but we'll see all the lanes being used here at Auto Club.
Yeah, exactly that here. And you know, in the real world, they actually would, in 3 and 4, they'd actually run all the way down on the flat. You would see them actually using the apron at competitive speeds. Not so viable on the sim, of course. That is something you always want to practice here. Auto Club's pit road, probably one of the easier ones to get on in the service. Of course, it's sister track. We have to speak in past tense, which I know is a little bit getting used to that. But Michigan, the partner track, sister track, drives very similar to that, of course, with slightly less banking here. Penske built this track back in the mid-90s. NASCAR bought it. And, you know, land values in California, that paycheck was just too much for them to resist. But rumor has that actually tomorrow, if you're watching this live, we'll get the San Diego update that NASCAR will return to SoCal, head to San Diego streets, and I'm sure iRacing will get that scanner warmed up, hopefully get that ready for us as they did with Chicago. But either way, a couple seconds left of warm-up, and we'll get ourselves situated for some California action.
Yeah, looking forward to this one. Auto Club's one of my favorite tracks to cover. It's just so diverse. It's so unique. It's also non-existent anymore, which is what adds to the history of this place. And unfortunate that it's a way in the real world that we're never going to get this back. I mean, Michigan, it's not going to. It doesn't replicate this. You can go in race in different lanes there, but just the way that this track races, this 2-mile D-shaped oval races, it's unique, and we're never going to get anything like that again. So looking forward to seeing what these guys can do in store for us tonight. 95 laps is going to be a thrilling race.
It will be indeed, but warm-up has come to a close, and now we will head down trackside for our Central Mobile Homes starting lineup. If you're looking for a smaller large home, a new shed Triple Crown trailer, look no further than Central Mobile Homes. They've been proudly serving Florida customers for 29 years with a plethora of small and large home floor plans, shed designs, and Triple Crown trailers. Available in LaBelle, Okeechobee, Clewiston, and Sebring. Head to CentralMobileHomesInc.com to get started as we get started with our starting lineup. Seth Noel will lead things down, 41.488. David Weishart looking to get some luck here in the back end of the season. He'll roll off in second. Third, we'll find the likes of Matthew Batby. Brian Mercurio looking for a championship. He'll try to lock himself in from the fourth starting spot. Timmy Pacioli in fifth. Jonathan Evans, the Connecticut native, in the sixth spot. Seventh finds Jake Nichols and Mason Kane, a playoff row number 4. And then rounding out our top 10, we will find Brad Slaughter and the 5 of Garrett Grant.
Then rolling off in row 6, Tanner Love in the 71, going to be 11th, and 12th is Alex Chilcutt in the 60. Ben Pierce going to roll off 13th, and Jake Fisher 14th. 15th we'll find Jeremy Miller. In the 16th position will be Jalen Handcamp. 17th is Jeremy Brown. 18th, Travis Beckner, one of our playoff drivers to keep an eye out for. Joshua Ballier, 19th, and Ryan Nowicki, 20th.
And rounding out our next 10, we got Forrest Smith and then Josh Parrish, 21st, 22nd. Doug DeNice and then Philip Groner in the 24th spot. Heading into the mid-20s now, with 25th, we'll find Casey Lakatos and then Lee Norton there. Gabe Herschel, 27th. Nico Servideo, 28th. Rounding out our top 30, Gary Watersworth and Bryce Senesac. And just to round out the last couple stragglers, Caden Diedrich, Garrett Conrath. He's going to have to do a last-to-first challenge, or very near it. Anna Sogak in the 33rd spot. Tyler Hallman will be on the caboose here tonight. See our end-of-line penalties here as we spoke of. It is a myriad of them. We got Boyd, Springer, Howell, Hallman, Bethea, Patby, Andrew, Pardis, and Brady here. So not all of them, of course, here, but if they are here, they will be heading to the back, and that's usually why we end up having a second pace lap, just so we can get them all situated out.
Indeed. I think we're only going to get one pace lap, or are we going to go around one more time?
Oh, we'll find out the fun way here. We always do. You can see them sorting out here through turns 1 and 2, some on the flat. Everybody getting situated here. We do have the benefit of a slightly longer track, so, you know, Dover or something like that, we would need that. But here at Auto Club, we got plenty of space, so we'll see if the lights go back on the pace car. But our race details, 95 laps. Of course, no stages here in the area. It's just a flag-to-flag race, only interrupted by some incidents. 4 sets of Goodyears in our fixed setups here with the full fuel load. I would estimate, because I haven't been privy to any information, probably around 47 to 50 laps, question mark. But I don't think the tires are going to want to go that far.
No, it's all going to be about tires. I mean, you can try and do a fuel lottery and stretch it on fuel if you want, but at the end of the day, tires are more valuable, more important. So, are the lights on the pace car?
Negative, Batman. So it looks like we're going green flag racing unless we have a last second addendum here. Let's see what happens coming off turn number 4. Yep, Mustang is in the pit, so we'll head into our single Geico restart zone remaining here on the NASCAR calendar. 1 race to decide a champion. Who's going to go for the Final 4 in Charlotte? Let's find out. Auto Club is green flag. We're already dipping 3 wide here. Brad Slaughter wasting no time putting the 73 of Jake Nichols in the middle here. Let's go 4 abreast. 26 of Jonathan Evans going to rip the fence here. That's what Auto Club is known for, some crazy restarts. Got to get them while they're all bunched together.
They're all fanning out, 2, 3 wide and 4 wide through the turns. We already saw in the first couple of turns. Wouldn't be surprised if we see it here through 3 and 4. Seth Knowles got a pretty comfortable gap. Weishart with Pacioli below him trying to challenge for second. 1 truck all the way up top. I think that's Nowicki. Got a little too close to that wall and corner exit, but this is bumper-to-bumper traffic if you're in southern LA. This is a norm, but not 180 mile an hour norm.
Not absolutely not. And you have some playoff drivers in there. You got Mercurio. He's in the middle of now what is 4 wide because running the rim there. We thought that would be a late race move, but Mason Cade says, nope, I'm going to do it on lap number 2. And now you have that risk versus reward coming, especially for someone like Mercurio. He's in the middle right now. He has a lot of wiggle room there, Hunter. But you don't want to use it and abuse it here. He has to kind of situate, how hard do I want to battle right now?
Indeed he does, and I mean, phenomenal move from Mason Cade because now he's challenging for a top 5 spot against Jake Nichols. Meanwhile, Seth Knowles holding on to the lead. Weishart steered clear from Pacioli. Evans has jumped up to 3rd, but Weishart, he's looking to get something going in the right direction. He's been itching to get back to victory lane, whether it's in Cup, Truck, or in the Pro Series. And he might do just that tonight if he can keep it clean. Meanwhile, Mason Cade, he's going to have some company on his outside with Alex Chilka in the 60, and Brad Slaughter giving him a little tap going in the 3.
Yeah, you'll see some bump drafting here. That is definitely par for the course here at the Auto Club Speedway. But look at that outside lane coming in a little earlier than expected. Tanner Love got some run up there and trying to use any kind of drafting you can get here. A little bit will come into play. You can see getting that run off of Chilcutt here, that Hendry County machine of Alex Chilcutt. Mason Cade trying to gain that spot. He needs a win. Timmy Pacioli, he's trying to look to the outside of Jake Nichols. He'll get the run. And will he bump draft? Will he pull to the inside? Maybe try to push them both a little bit closer to Jonathan Evans in 3rd.
Shove him. They're giving him a tap going into 3. Pacioli down to 5th. David Weishart's trying to build up a strong run on the outside. It's not going to be enough for this lap. Knowles going to shut the door, and he's got Jonathan Evans behind him as well. So throw these first 3 under a blanket, and then there's a little gap between Evans and Nichols that's kind of snaking through the front stretch, and that's a strategy that we'll see all night long. The way that the draft works at this track, it's wide enough to where you can go inside and out. So we'll see guys swerving down the straights, and looks like Knowles trying to do a little bit of that, and it's mostly single file because, again, these guys, they're itching to get to the top, goodness. But in the corners, you can see them fan out.
Oh, my God. There was not an inch separating those 3 cars Nichols, Pacioli, and Chilcutt. That was usually you say tandem drafting. That was the definition of what a trio draft would have been. They are doing their best to close in on those top guys. You have Brad Slaughter. I think that is, yes it is, in that Toyota to the outside. He's in the 8th spot. But look at up to the top of the track. Quite literally, top of the shot, top of the track. Weishart ripping the fence. Watch this run that he's going to get on corner exit. Well, if he does it right, he'll get a good run. Here it is, incoming, incoming, incoming. Will he rock the bottom or rock the fence and try to continue it?
He's going to try the outside. Evans is going to be down low. Still not enough to try and generate a big run. He'll have the draft to his advantage, though, so that's going to keep Weishart in the running, but I don't think he's going to pull out and make a move. He's just going to continue to push the one of Noel into the corner.
Yeah, I'm waiting to see if he wants the outside, and I think that's all he's willing to take, because you could see that Noel doesn't want to get off the bottom. I mean, you will see some haymakers get thrown here at Auto Club. If you expect that guy in front of you to run the top, just dive it on in there full bananas and try to pull off the slider, and there's the bump. Noel did do a little bit higher of an entry. Here comes Evans, going to try to rock the bottom of the racetrack, which is a little bit more viable through 3 and 4, but not going to get anything out of it here. But let's go back into that Hornet's Nest. You can see Mercurio is in the 9th spot to the inside of now Slaughter. Just behind that, who's that 609 truck behind him? I think that may be Chilcutt. I can't quite make it up. No, that was the 30. That was Jeremy Miller here. But again, 4 or 5 wide here through the center of the racetrack.
Yeah, these guys really starting to fan out now. Almost contact back there. It looked like Nowicki was close to either Tanner Love or Jake Fisher, and it was actually the 84 Fisher. But gosh, seeing these trucks go and send it deep, I mean, this is Auto Club, and this is what we expect to see.
Yeah, we said this race would run long. Well, this race on pace to only be about an hour long. If we can continue this, Nowicki on Struggle Street there down the straightaway, kind of bounced off the wall, bounced off of Fisher. Fisher having a different paint scheme here, spoofing the Keselowski discount tire car from back in the day, but it's throwing me off here. I think as you as well, not used to that paint scheme. I know you're not really used to put the trucks as it is, but Mercurio to the inside here. He is trying to make something happen. Jalen Handcamp there in that 67, who in need of a good run and decent chance for it right now. Still have at this juncture starting lap number 10. Everybody is in the lead draft, if you will. Caboose here is Justin Anisogak, which, given his plate success, is quite surprising. That's Nico Servideo. Not quite a wreck, but an incident of sorts. Let's go to Hendry County Replay, sort it out. 3 wide ahead of him. That's Ben Pierce. Yeah, he checked up for Pierce being into the wall, and then Parrish just couldn't react to it. Servideo, not really the only person outside of Pierce to have any issues out of that.
Close to being a wreck, and here's a send for the lead. Jonathan Evans said, all right, if you're going to settle Weishart, I'm not. He's going for the lead. He's not clear. Weishart's going to push the one of Noel. Could have went below, made it 3 wide, but he's thinking smart. Only 10 laps in. You're not going to win the race now, but you could definitely take yourself out of it at this point of the running, so he'll just push the one into turn 1, be on the outside, and then Jake Nichols in the back licking his chops, getting closer to the action.
You could see that outside lane becoming more and more prominently used as we expected. The tires starting to wear, less grip. You need that extra turning radius to get that truck to turn, and that builds the momentum up, gives you the big runs, but that also opens up the bottom for the haymakers, the slide jobs, the dive bombs, whatever you want to call them. We'll certainly see those later in the race, but Weishart getting in those classic runs, but he's either being patient, he's waiting for the outside, or he's, well, I don't have an option 3. Trying to figure out what his mentality is, because he's certainly getting the runs and can do something with them, but just doesn't want to pull out a line to the inside.
He's just buying his time. I guess he doesn't want to make the move too early. Trying to see what kind of a truck he has on the long run. We are about 12 laps in, so we're looking at the 86 of Pacioli. He's running solid in the 5th spot. Really faded back a couple of spots at the beginning, but kept it calm inside the top 5, and then behind him you see Mason Kane. That 4 wide move he made on lap 2 to get up to 6. That's pretty much where he's been since then. Again, Kane entered outside the cutoff by about 11 points. So he needs a solid showing tonight. It doesn't even necessarily need to win. He can point his way in. So we see the one of Knoll continue to lead, and Evans get closer to the bumper of Weishart for second.
Makes you wonder who has maybe taken the good off those Dr. Feelgoods and overused those tires. Makes you wonder. Someone like Mason Kane, who exerted so much on those opening laps to get where he did. Let's just kind of focus in on him for a brief moment here. Started 8th. Ultimately, he passed a lot of trucks. It only amounted to 2 as a net gain, but makes you wonder if those Goodyears are still on his side there. Mercurio back to 12th. He's getting rung out to the inside lane. Not the first time you've seen Mercurio drop back early in a race, but he usually has a long-term plan behind it. Look at Jalen Handcamp in that 67, higher than really most anybody, trying to get to the outside of Brad Slaughter there off of turn number 2. He will do it, and Slaughter will pull back in line. He wants to get to that outside.
Yeah, he's definitely found a groove there as he's gone around Slaughter. Now Slaughter under attack by a number of guys. Miller, Mercurio, Garrett Grant's trying to close in. Oh, and he's in the wall. Miller and Slaughter made contact in the middle of turn 4, and now the 81's going even further back.
Yeah, let's try to check it out quickly from the replay cam here. Missed it by about a skosh here. Let's just go back through turn 3 and 4. You can see Miller with the dive. He clears, and except he didn't. And that's a fair bit of contact. That's not catastrophic race-ending damage, but that might be enough damage to, tighten up the truck there. So hopefully that doesn't have too many issues. But here comes Pacioli. He's in 5th. He wants 4th. He's going to send it on in there. Full bananas underneath the 73 of Nichols. I don't think he's going to be able to clear, though. He will not. They will get tight quarters. Weishart.
Oh, he's in the wall. He bounced off the wall. Him and Evans, they made contact coming out of 4. Evans up into the 29 of
We're under yellow.
Oh, boy.
Now let's try to... We got some hoopla here on the front straightaway. We'll go back to our Hendry County replay and sort out the route of our hoopla. Jeremy Miller. He is... Garrett Grant into the wall, and when he got into the wall, really nothing for Jeremy to do. Just the reaction time, just not applicable there.
Yeah, that's like the exact opposite of what happened to him a lap earlier, where he came up, cleared himself in front of Slaughter. This time, the 5 comes down, gets that front nose out just a bit, and then nowhere to go for him. And then the 71 slides, and this red truck right here, I think he gets...
That's Conrad. Okay. Oh, no, that's Conrad.
Oh, he clipped him.
So any chance he had, he was required winning in based on his missing a race. But there goes that, barring the absolute most crazy of scenarios. But we'll come into the pits here. Somebody may have faked themselves out. Caden Diedrich there. No, that's the 24. Yeah, 24 Caden Diedrich. He got really sideways in. Maybe trying to slow down a little too aggressively there, maybe too much brake bias into it. Admin calling it a racing incident, which would fully agree with there. 17 laps in, 4 sets of tires. Shouldn't have any questions about changing those here.
No, I was actually about to bring up lap time. We were about 15 laps in on that run, 1.5 to 2 seconds of fall off just from that short stint alone. So we see the race off pit road, and it's going to be close. I think Evans might have been out the one.
He did. He absolutely did. Let's pull up our pit times and see if anything drastic. Well, there it is, a 14-1 to a 15 flat. So kudos to that 26 pit crew. Makes you wonder if it was just luck of the draw and the pit crew just nailed it. Maybe he took a skosh less fuel to shorten that stop up. Don't quite know either way, but again, you've seen our Hendry County Motorsports Park replays already. Racing will return September 20th at Hendry County. They will have, of course, tickets $20 for adults and kids age 5 and under get in free. The family pack of 4 for $25. The southernmost track in America. That is in Clewiston, Florida, off U.S. Highway 27, HenryRacing.com. I know they're doing something at the end of August. I know Jason Beckner was filling us in some kind of demo derby fun night with a bunch of stuff, but officially they will be back September 20th.
Yeah, and I'm looking through not Travis Beckner. He actually gained a spot on the person I was trying to talk about. Mason Kane went from 6th to 9th on that pit stop. I'm not sure if he might have overslid his pit box, but 45 seconds in the pit lane, that's the slowest of anyone that's inside the top 10. So
even relating
the pit stop itself, it looked fine, but
2 seconds. 2 seconds, yeah, about 2 seconds off.
Yeah, just the entry to the pit, maybe a little bit difficult for Kane, but it's good to get this out of the way early and not late whenever it matters the most. But he could just make it 4 wide again and then just pass 3 trucks and it'll be like nothing ever happened.
Well, you have to wonder because, racers when you see someone do something, that goes in the old memory bank for next time. And it makes you wonder, all right, someone around him knows, all right, I can go full send on that outside and rip around them on lap number 1. Who's going to try it this time by? I know Brad Slaughter. He's someone that usually likes to make those kind of aggressive moves, especially on the super speedways, but he's back at 15th. Mason Kane, he's now to the inside, so if he's going to make that move, he's going to need to do a little switcheroo, but maybe Travis Beckner, maybe he wants to try something out here. Brian Mercurio, maybe he wants to get out of the mix, but he's to the inside, but let's see what happens. Jonathan Evans, first time today, he has led the race thanks to his pit crew. And that Ford Mustang FR500S pace car will take that hard left. We will head into the Geico restart zone, and we will get today's race under its first restart event of the evening. Let's get on the loud pedal. Bump from Weishart, gets that 26 a rolling, and we're back to green.
I'm expecting Beckner to be the first one to rim ride the outside just to see if it works.
Well, let's head into turn number 1 and 2. Everyone's kind of formulated. No, he's going to go meat in the sandwich, it looks like there. At least he thought about it. Travis Beckner in that number 28, but who's in front of him? He has Alex Chilcutt. I don't think he wanted to put his teammate there in a precarious position. So stays in line as they will go 2 by 2 and start fanning out behind. Hand camp all the way to the top.
Yep, trying to get that outside lane rolling. You use the most of your tires this early on. While you can, he's going to give Garrett Grant a nice shove down the front stretch. Meanwhile, for the lead, Seth Knoll trying to retake it on the bottom, and it looks like he's going to do just that, clear himself in front of the 26. Meanwhile, Weishart under attack from the outside of Jake Nichols for 3rd, and then back behind them, it's door-to-door for 5th between Pacioli and Chilcutt.
Yeah, lap number 1, that inside lane, you have maximum grip on the tires, so it's really easy to rip that bottom of the track. The outside not as advantageous on lap number 1, but lap number 2, you've already taken a good percentage off those good years. The good is gone. They're just years. And then that outside comes in. So that first lap, Evans running a little bit higher. That cost him. Now he's back in the tow, back in the draft. Jake Nichols in 3rd. Chilcutt in 4th. Weishart back to 5th, lowest he's been on the day. And then Pacioli, he was up to 4th before, back to 6th, trying to claw away some of those spots again.
Indeed, as they're still door-to-door coming out of 2, and Weishart under attack now. He's on the outside of the top 5 looking in. It's been a little rough on this restart for David, but he's trying to do all he can, and he's got to block Beckner. He's got to block Pacioli inside, outside. This is a rough go for the 29, but I think once he gets settled in, he'll be A-okay. But Chilcutt inside the top 5, very good for that 60, as everybody's still chasing the one of Seth Knoll.
And it looks like we are going for another move to the inside. Evans is going to go to the inside. He's going to dive it on in there, but he didn't slide up the track. He dove it in, kept it on the bottom. That allowed the momentum to stay wound up for Seth Noel, and that move will be for naught. If he can get a little bit of a side draft, he'll try to do it. I don't think he's going to be able to. A little bit of a sniff. He's got to go full send. He's got to go full bananas in there. He will do it. Now he's going to slide up and clear him. No need, but now he's going to set up for a crossover. Oh, looks like Noel.
Here comes Jake Nichols. He's going to give the one a shove. These two work together Monday night. They're going to work together again tonight. I thought they were going to go and make a move for the lead, but guess not. They're just going to stay tucked in. But that 73 had such a huge run. He could have went low if he wanted to, but chose to save that for another lap. But look at that hand camp machine on the outside. I've been noticing him on that upper groove. I thought Beckner would have been the one to do it, but hand camp, he's found a rhythm.
That was more than a bump draft to the back of Weishart. But yeah, Handcamp, he is the guy who has the brass cojones to run that Larson line, mainly through 3 and 4. Rather through 1 and 2, pardon me. But he's going to try to get a sniff to the outside. 60 at Chilcutt in the fence, tried to shut the door on Weishart. He did that as soon as Handcamp was building his momentum. That could have been a lot worse, but we all carry on.
And especially for him, because he's not a playoff driver. These guys that are non-playoff drivers, they're just going after it for wins, and might as well do what you can if you're the 67. He might have a shot on the outside. No, Chilcutt's going to shut the door for the time being, but Handcamp's going to be inside the top 5. That outside lane is just too good to go away from if you're the 67, and he's going to hold firm on that in the 3 and 4.
And then look at behind that, I see Evans running the bottom, and I see Noel trying to get that outside working himself, but he's not maybe having the luck that others have had up there. I see the 24 giving a massive push to Philip Groner there. And then who's that? Pacioli in the mix, trying to get by one of those Hendry. That's Beckner. Now Pacioli, he's going to go rim ride the fence here, all the way up in that 4th, 5th groove. He's all the way back to 10th now. Remember, he was 4th before that caution, now back outside the top 10.
Yeah, I don't think we mentioned Philip Groner tonight, but he's inside the top 10 having a solid run. As soon as I say that, Kane Diedrich going down and trying to take 10th away into turns 3 and 4. He'll slide up and clear the 11, but Groner will cross him over on the corner exit.
Mason Kane back to 12th. Again, the comers and goers, because remember, Mason Kane with that power move lost some spots on the pit cycle, and now he is outside of the top 10 himself. Garrett Grant in that battle. Remember, he hit the wall at some juncture off of turn number 4, and that kind of caused a little kerfuffling, but that truck still seeming to perform at a modest pace here. Brian Mercurio, highest he's been on the day. Keaton Diedrich down, wrecking on the back straightaway. Huge.
Oh, he hit that wall hard.
Yeah, but he's off the racetrack, and iRacing typically here at Auto Club allows those apron wrecks to carry on. Let's go Hendry County replay. Watch that 24. Oh, he cleared him. Something. We'll have to get one more look, but something with Mason Kane. We'll go from the top down.
I think you were right. I think you were on the right page. He cleared himself in front of Mason Kane. He had a run off 2, tried to fit the gap, and there wasn't enough there, and he hit that wall a ton.
Yeah, we'll just get one more brief look at that here from Mason Kane's perspective, and then we'll get back to live footage here on that number 31. You can see Groner on the bottom did not get a good run on the exit, and I think, yeah, Diedrich said, hey, I'm going to go and just do a little snake move here, and snake move fail. But again, apron wrecks. Barney lets him slide, lets him get away with it. Back to live footage. Lap number 27, and the grip's going to be going up because we are under some massive shade conditions. Track temp down 8 degrees from practice.
Yeah, the later we get into this race, the cooler the track temp is going to be. It happened Monday night. It's going to happen again tonight as Evans continues to hold firm of that lead. Now, Noel, 15 to the good, doesn't necessarily need to win, but don't want to put yourself in the position where you could take yourself out of it. Meanwhile, that yellow truck of Mercurio, he is door-to-door with Handcamp, going to have a shove from Chilcutt going into 3. And again, these guys just using any lane that they can to their advantage. On board with Mercurio here. He's going to try and clear himself in front of the 67. He will, and, well, Chilcutt had a run to the inside, but that momentum is too tough to overcome.
Yeah, he tried to, but like we said, when that, I'll cut that thought off because we are going for the lead once again. Noel got it back, and then he's all the way down to the bottom. He's going to get about a 2-truck length lead, and that 2-truck length lead will instantly degrade here once he loses his momentum off the corner, snaking down to the bottom of the track. Look at Mercurio going for a podium spot here. Jake Nichols in 3rd. This could very well be our championship battle, 73 and 82. Seth Noel hasn't really been on the pace of those guys all season here in the Truck Series anyways, but you know, he's a yellow ticker right there. He could very well be going. This is potentially, we could be seeing this at Charlotte next week too.
As going into 1, we see the Chill Cut machine looking to the inside of Handcamp, who the Larson line is working for that 67. Might as well paint him in the Hendrick Cars paint scheme. But up front, Jake Nichols trying to take second away from Evans. Not going to be enough. Evans will have a run going into 3 on the bottom. And slowly but surely, that yellow 82 of Mercurio closing in on the front 3.
And look at Jake Nichols' power run there on the outside. Sun coming back out here. They'll have to readjust their grip thresholds here, because as soon as we lose some track temp, we might gain a little bit of it back here on a different side of the track. So the dynamicisms, if such word exists, that these drivers will have to endure here. But Noel back to the lead, and it looks as though that Evans may be in a precarious spot, stuck to the inside, 2 to his outside, in the form of Nichols and Mercurio.
Oh, and he fit right in between himself and Handcamp there. The 67 had a strong run, and you can just see the bumps that these guys are going through down the back and into 3. David Weishart still trying to stop the bleeding. He's down to 8th. Got quite a gaggle in front of him. Very tight racing there. I thought he was going to take it 3 wide again, but he's just going to go with the flow with the snake method that the rest of the field is using down the front stretch.
Hunter, the way that they come together off turn number 4 is just absolutely just terrifying. Like, I feel like there's multiple ways to kind of get off of turn number 2 where you don't really squeeze your competitors. But it almost reminds you of like the exit of the corners at Dover. You might run different lanes through the center of the corner, but everyone fights right to that top lane. They all drift right out to the wall, and we've already seen a couple times where that's bit people tonight.
Yeah, especially turn 4. That's where the trouble spot has been for these guys, as we'll see a good look of it coming out of 4 this time through. Oh boy, I think a couple of them just scraped it too.
Yeah, just a little bit less paint there, a little bit less weight, little more speed there. It's all a calculated decision there. But Pacioli, I think did we just talk about him about maybe 4 laps ago being outside of the top 10, and hopefully not turned by Chilcutt, who started to wash up the track. But Pacioli maybe showing some late run speed, maybe intentionally slowed up, as 67 a Handcamp maybe lost it over the bumps, kissed the wall a few times down the backstretch.
Yeah, he's still sticking to that outside lane, but it's getting a little tough for him to try and continue. As looking at these lap times, we're at that same part of the last run where we're about 16, I'll make it 17 laps on this stint. Fall off is still about 1.5 to 2 seconds, depending on who you're looking at. As some side-by-side action in the back. This is Bryce Senesac in the 09. Looking to get around Gabe Herschel in the 80, and even behind them, there's Tyler Hallman in a very similar 62 scheme.
He's trying to get everyone their time in the sun. Casey always complains he doesn't get enough air time, which is complete horse poop, but there's Casey Lakatos there in that number 27 truck. Can't say we didn't get you on air today here, Mr. Casey. But Mercurio just chugging along here, but this is going to be the hardest pass. This is going to be Jake Nichols. This is going to be Seth Noel. Again, all playoff drivers. Timmy Pacioli there. I think he is right on that cut line, if memory serves. And Travis Beckner, he is going to need a little bit of luck to overcome his points scenario here, but somewhere that he certainly can get himself a win. He is in the 6th spot, but the battle is up front as Mercurio going for 2nd.
Yeah, Beckner doing a solid job. Mercurio as well, getting closer to that battle for the lead. Him and Jake Nichols are going to be door-to-door for 2nd. I'm not sure if it's going to continue coming out of 4, because the run that Nichols is going to have, actually it will continue. Nichols will have the draft from Knoll, but Mercurio is going to have some momentum from Evans, and they're going to get single file before going into 1.
Single filed out, and then what line will persevere? It looks like it's going to be that 3rd lane. Mercurio is going to drive down the track. That'll get him underneath the 73, but that dive down cut line, that should actually maintain a decent amount of momentum for him off of the corner, and it will. You can see he is door to door, so now will he do a diver? Will he do a haymaker? Whatever you want to call it. He will not. He'll do a traditional entry into the corner. That's going to be the easiest on the Goodyears, but it's not going to clear him. Maybe Noel will be nice and give him a little draft. Noel doesn't want to help either one, but looks like you can see the run the 73 got up top.
Yeah, they are tucked in up here. The front four, trying to make it the front five. Pacioli closing in on this group of drivers as well. But everyone's getting tightly formed. Meanwhile, they fan out in the middle of the corner again, not only inside the top 3, but outside the top 5, inside the top 10. Handcamp still around the outside, but now he's got Weishart looking low as Mercurio's looking low on Nichols once again going into 3.
And battles all over the raceway here, and you can see Weishart doing a huge diver and trying to clear, and it's hard sometimes. You try to do a diver, but someone's 3 wide, it'll block you, but he'll slide and he'll cut the door, and oh, Diedrich did not like that. Didn't wreck him, but I think he made his presence and his feelings known about that, cut him a little bit of a break.
Yeah, I mean, we are a third of the way through, so patience is going to be wearing a little thin for some of these guys, but not sure if that's going to be the same way said and done later on as this race winds down. It's still Seth Knoll just dominating, with Jake Nichols holding foot in second, Mercurio third, Evans fourth, and Pacioli fifth. Top 5 within half a second of each other.
Let's let over 27 of the laps that we have run. This race certainly has been entertaining, and if you need some entertaining at your next function or meeting, check out Elite Entertainment in Boiling Spring, South Carolina. High quality band production for any location or event. They have karaoke, singo, and more. Visit the link tree in the description. That is Elite Entertainment. But yeah, this race certainly entertaining, and here we go. Pacioli looking to run the fence, and I don't know if that was just a little bit of aero blocking or circumstances, but same time he did that, Evans decided to run the wall, and a little wall tap off the corner from one of them.
Yeah, and back down the bumps they go. It's oh gosh, it's so tight when they're going through the bumps. Just one bad move, or one bad bump really on the track, and could send your truck in a sideways manner going into the corner. But again, everyone's fighting for that outside lane. They're not really snaking now, but well, as soon as I say that, they're peeking. Oh, yellow's out. Forget everything I just said.
Tyler Hallman, Garrett Grant. And this was right at the time I was about to get into whole strategy play, but throw that in the old garbage can. Let's see what happened. Garrett Grant in the middle of a 4-3 wide. That's Handcamp to the outside. Handcamp in the wall. We've saw, as I talked about, one person messes up turn 4.
Oh man, Mason Kane.
Oh, I did not see Mason Kane. So hopefully,
yeah, he caught the I forget what side of the 5 truck, but whenever he was sideways, he caught one of his sides and fenders.
Oh, yeah, right front there.
Yeah, the 5 was getting hit by like a pinball, so
may have lucked out.
Seems like
though.
Slight contact for the 31. Yeah, it seems like he got away unscathed, but nonetheless, everyone's going to come down pit road, so forget any sort of strategy call that you might have, but let's see what the admins rule. Another racing incident.
Yeah, because as I said, and I have been doing a lot more racing lately, so my my racing knowledge is actually kind of winding back up. But as I said, the exit of turn 4 here at Auto Club, as multi-groove as this place is, the exit of turn 4 just has the propensity to turn into a funnel, and you're just seeing everyone wash up the track, and as soon as they wash up the track, they can't hold it down there. Someone's already up there, someone bounces off the wall, absolutely no reaction time can be had. And it's about the 3rd time we've saw a related incident. Haven't seen it, though, off turn number 2. So just kind of one of those weird track geometry issues. But I think we ran about 20-ish, 15-ish laps before. Ran about 20-ish laps this time by. And we'll put another set of Goodyears on as we close in on the halfway mark.
Yeah, we're inching closer towards halfway. It's around 47. It's an odd number of total laps, so gotta cut it in half. But yeah, and pit road's going to be treacherous. Saw Mason Kane that last time by. He had a mishap sliding over his pit box. We'll see.
Oh, Evans.
Evans
Talk about a
hit.
mishap. That was...
He got hit.
And he's still struggling to get into the box. Usually we don't do replays in the middle of the pit lane, but in this instance we will. That's Pacioli behind him. They're both turning in. Yeah, a little bit of contact there from Pacioli on the entrance. Weird isms here of iRacing, as most of us will know here on iRacing. When you're in the pit stall, you are invisible. You're not able to be collided with. And that was kind of right at that transition point of sometimes you're invisible, sometimes you're not, but either way, bad luck there. Hopefully not too much repairs that need to be made.
I think the same thing happened to Seth Knoll because he was leading and now he's down to 5th. He had a 45-second pit lane from start to finish in his box as well.
Yeah, comparatively 43.9 for Jake Nichols. So, and the pit lane time is the pit stop time. That's kind of just a random generated number. But when that's similar, the rest of it is due to the driver's time in the pits, entering the box, exiting the box, having to back up or adjust yourself in any capacity. So interesting there. But let's just take a look and try to get a zoom in cam, if we will, on that 26. These trucks are very durable, made of SpaceX quality carbon fiber on sometimes they're made of paper mache, but in this occasion looks like that 26 is still pretty sporty, and he should be fine. And who was the other driver a little bit ago? Mason Kane, who has recovered quite nicely after that little faux pas. Camera will...
Yeah, he's actually up to 9th after that set of pit stops.
Let's try to maybe this camera. Yep, looking at that right front of Mason King where he had that contact under that caution. But he's looking pretty sporty as well. So everyone should be in as top form as possible, as Jake Nichols and Mercurio are going to be for the first time leading this thing on a restart.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting. We got some new guys that are getting closer towards the front. Mercurio, Chilcutt, Pacioli. I think scoring might have reset because now it's saying Seth Knowles in 3rd.
Yeah, I have him. Yeah, I have him 3rd and 4th, but I think Chilcutt just might be running a little bit ahead of him there. So they're kind of going back and forth on live positioning here. So, but either way, we're coming through 3 and 4, and a lot of stuff to talk about. If you're looking for something to listen to on your way to work, check out the High Banks podcast. 228 has Jacob Bell on Spotify. You can listen to that here after today's race. That is the High Banks podcast. Check that out after today's broadcast, because we are still looking forward who's going to win our who's going to win the race, who's going to lock themselves into Charlotte. About half distance to sort it out. Mercurio's struggling on the jump on that outside. Green flag in the air. Noel will get that jump for 2nd, and they'll stack up on that outside behind.
That green truck of Groner, he wanted no part of that. Dove down to the bottom and trying to set his footing, and it might have turned out great for him because he's now fighting for a top 5 spot against Alex Chilcutt. These guys get wide on exit of 2.
Now they are sloshing around here as we go back under the clouds here, and that will provide some more grip, as if these guys need a little bit more on that Superman cape to have that little bit more grip to have. Groner all the way down to the inside, Chilcutt onto his outside, and then Timmy Pacioli, who's probably passed more trucks today than most anybody. He's been outside the top 10, in the top 5, back outside the top 10, in the top 3 once more, and looking for more, because that is Seth Noel in 2nd. Pacioli right on that cut line. He can spare a little bit of issue here today, but he has to keep himself in a sporty position to transfer through.
Oh, into the wall, red truck. I think that was Chilcutt. Might have scraped it just a tad bit. Either him or Beckner tapped it, but nonetheless, still fighting strong inside the top 10. Both guys are, and Beckner, we mentioned, he's on the outside looking in by about 12 points. He's made some nice ground. He's going to come up in front of Weishart. Whoa, 29 had to wiggle a little bit just to not spin out, but they're snaking down the front stretch, and this time everybody's going after that 73 of Jake Nichols.
I think it's taken us till about right now there, Hunter. I have been just analyzing here, and it is appearing to me that Jordan Kuntz not here tonight. So that is one position that is going to open up there, because he was in 5th, so that will slightly bump up some of those guys on that cut line. But Pacioli does have 7 to Jordan and 10 to Mason Kane. So again, that is the buffer that Pacioli has. Would take a win and in from behind to really knock him out. But either way, top 4 breakaway. Chilcutt looking 3 wide. Weishart in the middle. Weishart just the second half of the season just could not buy good luck, no matter how much the bid would be. And trying to put himself in a decent position there as Handcamp running his favorite line right up against the fence.
Yeah, back to the outside like he never left, and he is in the wall, and he's tapping that wall again. Him and Beckner, no, I don't know if they touched, but they were very close to if they didn't, but Handcamp's still in the top 5. He's got Beckner to his inside. Weishart pushing him now with Chilcutt, Groner, and Bappy we're on board with inside the top 10.
Yeah, Bappy started third, but he has not ran there, and I wonder how much of that is circumstantial, how much of that is intentional. Because when you see the racing like it has been, sometimes you have the old wait till the end and charge style, the survival style that some of these drivers will use. The survival style, not what Jalen Handcamp is exerting with what he is doing. He's going to have a myriad of a run. He's going to have a huge run off the corner. Gets to the outside of Mercurio. He's going to give a huge bump trap to Pacioli. Got to watch out for those bump traps through the bumps on the straightaway. Mercurio is going to do a dive down to the inside, but now he's up top 3 wide. Pacioli in the middle. Handcamp rocking the fence, going for third.
Wow, and Weishart's running the similar line that the Handcamp is, and he's just following him through. And now he's got loads of help behind him. Beckner, Chilcutt, Groner, Bappy, they all went with him, and they're all going to be behind him going into 1. Don't know if they're going to replicate the line that Handcamp is doing. I mean, look at how high he's going. Yeah,
that takes the brass cojones, that takes the practice, and what it will do is it'll burn the tires up because there's not as much rubber put down up there. Track's going to be more abrasive, so it will be better on the short run. If this does go long, I would worry about that, but he's going to hope maybe these 20-lap stints keep happening. But here he comes to the outside. He's going to clear Pacioli. He's going to have a run on Noel. Where is he going to go with it? So you know he wants that outside as he shut the door, getting any draft he can, but we are under yellow.
Yeah, short runs like that, it will help with the tires. As we got
Jeremy Miller, Hallman.
There's another truck down on the apron.
Sort things out here once again. Jeremy Miller, I saw him dead sideways as if he was on a dirt track. 87 washed up into Jeremy Miller here. Evans, a little bit of a Scotia contact there. 15 sideways, that's Forrest Smith. But yeah, we've certainly had issues, not just on the exit of turn number 4 here today, but getting through turn number 4 evidently as well. Just washed up the track there, 87. If Jeremy Brown, so Jeremy into Jeremy there. And there's Sogak just slowing down as much as possible to get through.
And the admins ruled that as +2 to Jeremy Brown, so Jeremy got +2 for wrecking Jeremy. This
is going to be interesting because you can't spare. Remember, we have 4 sets of tires. We're just past halfway. We've already used 2, and as valuable as they are, it'd be. I don't know, man. I mean, if this thing goes green from here, you look like a genius if you pit, but that's also a pretty big ask given what we've seen. But we do have a fair amount of drivers in. All back of the pack, Doug DeNice, Casey Lakatos.
Jonathan
Evans, yeah, remember he got a little whisker of contact in there, so he's going to want to sort that out and buff anything out that needs to be buffed out. So that would be 21st on back, headed to the pits. And the up tire's going on.
Yeah, if you're Evans, you might as well. I mean, we've already established that. We've already seen that he's got a pretty fast truck that's capable of winning. So who knows? It could go on a long green flag stint, and you never know what could happen. So I was going to say I don't like it. I do like it. I'm not opposed to the strategy call that Jonathan Evans did, but Handcamp I'm a little concerned about because you mentioned it. He used the outside lane quite a bit, and he got him up to 3rd, but not sure if this caution helps him and might hurt him on the restart if there's a little tire spin there. But Pacioli runs solid in 4th, looking at Mercurio and Beckner in the top 10. Mason Kane just outside the top 10. And then Garrett Conrath down in 27th. But yeah, this point standings, it's going to be real close to seeing who gets in.
Let's refresh your memories here at home. Point standings, Mercurio up 20 over Nichols, Noel 31 back, Pacioli, and then there's our cut line to transfer to the championship 4. Kuntz not here, so he's all the way to the back, so that basically leaves Kane, Beckner, and Conrath. And given their positioning, minus 10, so that would mean Kane needs to get 10 spots on Pacioli. Pacioli would have to have a huge issue. And that same logic applies to Beckner. Conrath is just win or in, win or broke. So, but with Pacioli being serviceable in the top 5, it's going to take something to happen. But the way these guys are racing, anything can happen.
Yeah, they've been close to making contact for a lead quite a bit, and especially when they come across each other on the front stretch and even the back stretch too, just swiping their trucks in front of other drivers and getting real close to being turned. And I mean, we saw that once already with what was it, Diedrich in front of Mason Kane. He had a big run, tried to swipe across the front nose and wasn't clear and spun himself out. So it could be close, especially at the very end of this one, where if you would rather settle for possibly just a top 5 finish or go for the win. So we'll see if anyone makes those daring moves at the very end. But Jake Nichols, Seth Noel in the front row for this restart. Going to be interesting with Handcamp on the inside. We know he likes that outside line near the wall, so will be interesting to see if he can dosey his way up there or just settle on the bottom for the time being.
Yeah, I'll try to get himself sorted out. I'd recommend the bottom on 1 and 2 and then rip the top in 3 and 4. That'd be my best guess. But entering that restart zone, Nichols, you could see the little bit of wheel spin there. Those trucks all kind of skirting to the right on throttle, but no issues to be had. Green flag in the air. Jump goes to Nichols. He will clear Noel. Noel has the push from Handcamp. Handcamp has cleared, and he's going to go right where you thought he'd go. Right to, not quite all the way to the outside, but higher than most.
Yeah, it actually worked out well for him, and he's going to be on the outside lane down the back, so he'll have a strong shot going into 3. Weishart clears Beckner for 4th. Beckner will settle in 5th. Very tight behind him, and there's Conrath all the way up near the wall, running as high as he can go. Philip Groner on the apron, but that's not going to go anywhere good for him. He's going to lose quite a bit of positions and going to fall to the clutches of Mason Kane and Matthew Bappy.
Very tight clear there. Mercurio getting right up to clear in front of Alex Chilcutt there. Saw a wiggle there, so that must have been a bump draft. And a couple guys have not liked that. Pacioli, power move to the inside, nearly 4 wide. It ends up being it with Handcamp going all the way to the wall there. Pacioli again doesn't need a crazy run here today, but needs to keep the truck in the top 10, and that'll be really enough for him to transfer through. Beckner, he's going to need more than that, and he's driving like it. Power move to the inside. Weishart just wants to end the season on a positive note here. He is right behind the wall man. That is Jalen Handcamp.
Aggressive move from Weishart down low. Not going to be enough to get below the Handcamp machine, but mentioned it, those guys are not going for championship, they're just going for wins. Handcamp, Weishart looking to dethrone Nichols and Noel. Meanwhile, back here, Jeremy Miller holding tough on the bottom. Again, some of these guys, they came in, they pitted, they got fresh tires, so they're going to try and put that to good use early on in this stint. See the 26th of Evans back there. He's got 4 freshies and trying to work his way towards the front.
They're 3 by 3, and then they fan out, and let's push 4 there. That's Anna Sogak all the way to the top, so I don't think all the racing is up front. Anna Sogak with a wiggle there, back of the shot. I saw the 09 of Bryce Senesek say, hey, I'm just going to back out. You guys go at it here. I want to preserve my truck. But everybody in the lead draft right now, actually less Garrett Grant, who's had 2 issues here on the day. So that truck may have more aero damage than even the draft can Band-Aid. But up front, Jake Nichols, Seth Noel, Handcamp in 3rd, Weishart, and then some more yellow ticks there. Beckner, Pacioli, and Mercurio.
Yeah, it's getting real tight back here for 5th. Beckner on the outside, Mercurio on the bottom. Actually, he's behind Pacioli, who's on the bottom, but Mercurio just watching from afar as Handcamp going low and then going back high, trying to get that draft any chance that he can get from Noel and Nichols. And again, these two were working together Monday night. Didn't quite work out for them, but it worked out for their teammate Scioli. Back against the wall, 8th place in the points, got the win. Not sure if that's going to happen tonight for Conrath. Trying to find where he's at. He's really far back. He still is on the lead lap, but going to need a miracle for a win to happen for the 49.
Yeah, miracle. And I mean, we're at the point where let's just kind of speak very, very, very hypothetically. If this thing went green magically to the end, everybody who pitted probably can make it, and everybody else who stayed out, which is the majority of the field, can't. So that could be that magical story that is needed, but that is a big ask, especially given this gaggle that is currently on the screen exiting turn number 2. This is all about 10th back to 17th or so. Mason Kane, he hasn't been shy here today, down to the inside of Jeremy Miller, who's had a very chaotic race in that 30.
He really has, and he's fought back, and he's inside the top 10 now. Was he one of the guys that came down pit road?
Let's pull up our stint graphic so you'll see what who is on what. Yeah, Jeremy Miller, highest of the pitters. Now, I'm surprised that truck has recovered so much. I was almost wondering, did they accidentally give backup trucks here today? That's not the case, but these trucks clearly made of some undamageable material here tonight.
Yeah, he's made quite the recovery from where he was. Mason King going in the wrong direction down to 13th, so it's not going to be good for his points battle. Meanwhile, Beckner, he's driven up to 4th for the time being, trying to take 3rd away from Weishart. They've gone around Handcamp, and the tires starting to fade a bit on the 67. Meanwhile, the tires working just fine for the 30 of Miller, and look who's behind him, Jonathan Evans, climbing his way inside the top 10.
Yeah, he had 2 issues. Actually, remember 3. He had the issue on one of the wrecks. He overshot his pit box into the inside pit wall. So I guess he damaged the right front and the left front. So I guess the truck is actually, I guess, back to net neutral, if you want to call it that. But has those fresh tires, fresh fuel load, 9 laps into his stint, 35 to go. I would say he can make it to the end. I know it's a big ask, and I don't want to dramatize that this race is going to go green, but he can make it to the end, I believe. But the rest of these guys can't. They're going to be hoping that something goes astray in this race. But we have a 2-truck breakaway. Nichols and Noel side by side for 3rd. Jeremy Miller on those fresh tires getting underneath Weishart. Push from the 26 of Evans also on the fresh Goodyears.
Yeah, they're both men on a mission trying to get to the front as quick as they can. They're doing just that. They're up to the top 5. Weishart holding firm in 5th. Beckner giving him a shove down the backstretch in the 3. And David's trying to do all that he can, but with the fresh tires of Evans and Miller, it's not going to be enough to overcome.
Yeah, just the race that 26 has had. I mean, that would be a race, and I always say there's certain races that kind of solidify a championship-worthy driver. When you don't have the best truck, when you overcome adversity, when you have issues, damage and bad strategy, and you somehow still put yourself in position to be in the race, to win the race, to salvage a good running. I mean, Evans, he just checked all of those boxes here today. Josh Parrish, a name we haven't spoken of here this evening, he's looking to the inside. He's in the top 10. I think another one of those drivers who pitted. Yes, he is. So it's fresh tires on that PVTR Toyota Tundra, looking to the inside of Travis Beckner for 6th.
Yeah, very close and tight, coming off of 4. Beckner trying to hold his own. Meanwhile, up front, they're about to get dicey for the lead. Miller and Evans bump drafting, working together, trying to go around the outside of Jake Nichols and Jeremy Miller. He'll have a strong run going down the back into turn 3. He'll have the advantage for the time being, and Evans is going to give him the shove. And new leader of the race, the 30 of Jeremy Miller.
Yeah, the last to first. I would have never saw that happen, but just you never quite know. Again, the truck's been repaired, fresh tires. He's going to hope this thing runs to the end and put that number 30 in victory lane, as he's looking to do that. This race certainly has been spicy, as is rickshotsauce.com. You can head to rickshotsauce.com. Best hot sauces from South Florida, Lokahatchee Classic, Golden Garlic, Palm Beach Pineapple, South Beach Heat. The Rookie of the Year battle on Monday nights in the Area Cup Series, sponsored by them, and I don't know who's leading that, but you can follow that for the season finale next Monday. rickshotsauce.com, as things get spicy here. Back end of the top 10, Justin Anasogak, he is in the 6th spot, digging for more on those fresh tires. And some of these guys who need good runs starting to drop back. Pacioli, Mercurio, now back to 10th.
And also Josh Parrish up there. I haven't talked about him all night, but he was one of the guys that came down and pitted. He is inside the top 10. He's right behind Travis Beckner, pushing him down the straight in that 55 machine. He's on the inside, but he's with Anna Sogak, and these two are trying to work their way inside the top 5. Anna Sogak has. Now Parrish has to do just that, as Weishart, Beckner, Pacioli, Mercurio, the guys that have older tires, they're fading towards the back.
And I'll tell you up front, even though Evans has been surpassed, he is not going down without a fight. He is able to stay within that draft, stay within that toe of Jeremy Miller, and maybe overcome some of the grip loss that those tires are enduring here. You can see there on the timer, a 68. Let's see what it updates to, an 80 to a 78. So actually a skosh faster that time by Nichols and Noel, running 43 flats, 3/10 off. And then you have Anna Sogak there, so you can clearly tell where the tires are. And actually, I'll asterisk that because Evans is on the same tire strategy as Jeremy Miller. So those top two tandeming their way, and again, 0.3 of a second buffer on the rest of the field as we tick down to sub 30 laps to go. Roughly 20 minutes of racing if this thing carries through.
Yeah, Jeremy Miller, he's had over 100 starts in the area, 136 to be exact. He has
here
yet
comes
to
Beckner.
win. Oh,
pit stops for those who stayed out.
Yeah, this is going to throw a monkey wrench into everything, but Jeremy Miller, he's looking for his first area win in anything. They call him the Super Speedway King or the Plate God, but he's yet to win. He was so close to winning earlier this season in the area 500, lost by 1/1000th of a second, and I know that's been tearing at him because it was the make it or break it for him missing the playoffs just from that early in the season. And he's been through a lot, and this could be on the right call for him if this goes green to the end.
Yeah, if it goes green to the end. And so they're 0.3 off. Our best laps are 41.5. So coming straight out of the pits, those drivers who did, Beckner and company, Weishart, they're going to be gaining about 1.5 seconds a lap. But here they come, just going exactly 1 lap down. So they're going to have to overcome, 46 seconds of on-track time to get themselves back in contention. And then you just have to assume, again, we haven't been told a direct fuel number, but we're just going to assume that these guys can make it to the end. It's going to be one of those old tires versus new tires debacles here at the Auto Club Speedway. Seth Noel, haven't seen him rim ride here today, but there he goes, 3rd, 4th place. Anna Sogak looking to his inside.
Yeah, they're slowly creeping towards the front again. They're kind of been stagnant now. They haven't really gone anywhere as far as close to Jake Nichols and Seth Noel. Meanwhile, more trucks coming out of the pit road. There's Chilcutt in the 60 coming out. A couple more guys coming in.
There's Jeremy Brown, Philip Groner in, Jalen Handcamp. As who is that? 87. Jeremy Brown overshot his pit box there, had to back up. That'll cost him catastrophic amounts of time here. And here comes the scariest moment in green flag oval racing, is when, well, that happens. But when you have fresh tires on a huge tire difference here at Auto Club, 2-3 seconds of fall off, you're struggling on old tires. You look in the mirror, and these guys are driving like they have 150 extra horsepower.
Yeah, they are. It's like you're on easy mode pretty much in the video games, so you never really know anymore. So we're looking through these guys. It's really going to be interesting if this does go green to the end. I don't expect it to, but if it does, man, this is going to be a very interesting finish.
And the most important thing right now is, so Mason Kane, who has pitted, he's back on the lead lap. That is the most important things that these drivers can do right now, is get back onto the lead lap. Philip Groner, he is the first 1 lap down right now. He is about 1.5 seconds behind. That is Noel. That is Jake Nichols. And just looking in front, you could see those that silver and that red and black truck. He needs to get on the lead lap, because as you know, Hunter, there is a huge difference between getting the wave around and getting the free pass, especially in this kind of situation. You want to be on the lead lap if you can.
Yeah, being on the lead lap is very huge, because if we do get a yellow and you're stuck a lap down, not a whole lot you can do other than just hope and pray that we get a lot of yellows, as a battle for the lead's going to pursue. Groner's going to go 3 wide with the leaders as Jonathan Evans retakes the lead.
Yeah, Evans may have used, he may have looked in the mirror, saw what was happening with Groner, and this, sometimes you always say setting a pick is sometimes the best way to make a difficult pass, but and then look at Garrett Conrad. He's up to 5th right now. He is another one of those drivers who has the tires and presumably the fuel to get to the end, gets by Mercurio. And he is just a hair under 3 seconds behind. And we've run enough, and we will have run enough there, Hunter, that old tires, new tires, that's going to be a thing. But even on those guys with the fresh tires, there's going to be enough time to be had that there may be comers and goers. Maybe Conrad can eat into some of this gap.
Yeah, he very well could. Thought that his day would have been done, but clearly that is not the case. He's still chug-a-lug-a-lugging along. It's still going to have to be a must-win for Conrad, but never say never.
Let's pause here for a second. He had some serious issues to his truck. Like, that right front was toast. How is that in that prestige? I know the damage is, like, is there, I mean, we'll wait for Jacob Bell to maybe comment on us in chat here. Was there any kind of glitch with the session settings here, or are there pit crews that good at repairing? Because it seems like everyone who's had damage has repaired almost perfectly tonight.
We have had a good bit of yellows, and this is a big enough track to where if you want to repair damage, you can for a longer period of time and not really lose a lap compared to other tracks like a 1.5 miles or a short track. But yeah, it's a very interesting point, but he's still in it to win it, and Jonathan Evans is still leading, but these guys are still battling for second. That's Noel and Nichols. Noel trying to rim ride the outside around the 73.
Yeah, and already a second difference. Evans has pulled away, and Evans, he's in as a whole bunch in it. Oh no, Pacioli! That's the one thing he could not spare is an incident. He didn't hit anything, but that's going to cost him a ton of time. Remember, he has about a 10-position buffer on Mason Kane and company behind him. Was this self-induced, or was this instigated? That was self-induced.
Oh,
maybe a little too much rear brakes.
That's the blessing that Travis Beckner and Mason Kane needed. So now the battle for the championship 4 spot's going to be even closer as the 73 and 1 come down pit road.
Oh, Nichols going for 3, locks it up. That yellow cone is the speed cone, and these drivers going in hot and heavy. Hopefully there's no speeding issues, but perhaps maybe 45 laps, those guys who pitted, maybe those 45 laps, maybe that was too long. Maybe we were completely out to lunch. I mean, wouldn't surprise me. I haven't drove this combination recently, but the situation that also presents here, Hunter, is for those drivers who did pit and they're pitting again. This is their final set of tires. So if a caution does come out, they have nothing left to change to, no strategy set. They're going to be stuck with old tires if we get another yellow.
I think Doug Denice, Ben Pierce, Casey Lakatos, I think they're possibly on the last of their tires. I could be wrong, but when this all shakes out, David Weissar and Travis Beckner are going to be up front with Mason Kane as well. So not only that, a non-playoff driver possibly leading this, and this is if everything cycles through as it should. And then Beckner and Kane, those two on the outside looking in with Pacioli's mishap on pit road. Gosh, anything's going to be up for grabs, and there's still only 19 to go.
Look at the telemetry, Hunter. He was clutching it. He was clutching it. I saw about 1,000 RPMs, 1,800 RPMs. Conrad is going for it. He knows it's his only chance. You have Doug Denice and company. They're still on track. Ben Pierce, Casey Lakatos here. I know Casey Lakatos, if there's a strategy call, he's going to go for it. But what we'll have to watch out for is the timing right now. And in terms of where he is in relation to the nearest pit stop driver, that's going to be David Weishart. And he has a 25-second buffer over David Weishart. that is the first driver to pit. So he has 18 laps, and he can lose about 1.5 seconds per lap, which a lot of that is just the natural tire degradation, not the fuel saving.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, there's a lot of moving variables to this. I could not have even pictured it this way. Oh my gosh, this is crazy. Jake Nichols and Seth Knoll, they're nowhere to be found. They're 16th and 18th on the leaderboard right now, and even after everyone comes down, presumably, and cycles through, they'd still be outside the top 10.
And this right here, Hunter, this is a pivotal pass, because if you think of it, this is potentially the win, at least as it stands right now. Beckner getting by Weishart. Kane getting into the mix. We head to the guys who have just pit. Highest of that is Justin Anasogak. He is the highest to pit recently. And he's back in the, 10th, and he's 27 seconds off the lead. So you head back to Jake Nichols, 31 seconds off lead. I'm sorry, you're not gaining 31 seconds in 16 laps. That's just that deg will fall off unless they have to go into hypermiling mode.
Yeah, Garrett Conrath trying to do just that. Looking through, he's got a long way to go. It would be 43 laps if he can go to the finish.
I know at Indianapolis and stuff like that, 2.5 miles, usually 37, 38 laps tends to be the max. I would have thought 40 to 45 would have been easily doable here. Let's just go back, and we don't have you can't really see the dash here from this camera, but 6,000, he's definitely running it low. We don't have the actual telemetry, his throttle inputs to pull up. For competitive reasons, they don't provide that to us, but you can see, let's see if he's going to coast it, clutch it. Yep, there it goes, 2,500. He's basically shutting the truck off for about 2 seconds at a time. And Weishart now 22 seconds back. I think I said about 25 seconds not that long ago, so he really is not giving up as much time as you'd think.
Yeah, and this is a good track too to save fuel at, because of how wide it is and how lowly banked the corners are. You can arc it in and then get all the way low, clutch up for a couple of seconds, and then go right back into it. So good strategy call for the 49. I mean, you got to do what you got to do. Back against the wall, dead last in points, must win. Got to do what you got to do, and he's doing a good job of that. He does not need a yellow, though. If that does happen, that would be the end of his race.
And now Timmy Pacioli, remember I said he had about a 12-ish point buffer on the rest of the playoff spot, because Conrath was in fifth. He's not, Kuntz is in fifth. He's not here. So he would have had a 10-point buffer to Mason Kane. He had that pit stop issue. He's basically last on the lead lap. He's 25th out of 27 lead lap drivers. So if Conrath wins, that's going to be what takes Pacioli out. If Conrath doesn't win, now that he's so relegated back, I still don't know if Pacioli gets in this. Mason Kane is more than 10 positions ahead of Pacioli, so that pit mistake, one way or another, it might be the strategy call, or it might just be the mistake costing him the time, but that may be Pacioli's
but not even that. Beckner was 2 points behind Kane heading into this one, and he is 5 positions ahead of him as we speak. So that would probably go to Travis Beckner if he can keep it clean for the next 12 laps.
Yeah, so Pacioli, when he was fifth all race, and like we said, just can't make mistakes, and I've made mistakes as well. I go back to, as a championship I lost in the league 2017. I hit the wall off turn 2 at Vegas leading the race, lost a 10th a lap. That ended up costing me the championship. Totally self-induced. Those self-induced mistakes are the worst ones, because it wasn't like someone doored you or anything like that. But here comes Evans. He's trying to charge through. He's 21 seconds off the lead. David Weishart just ahead, and Weishart with Beckner behind. They are 20 seconds back. So that would, again, you're still needing 2 seconds a lap. And right now they're getting, let's just pull up the lap. Well, they are up. You need 2 seconds a lap, and you're getting about 1.8. But with every lap that goes by, they're going to start slowing down in relation to those drivers up front, so it's going to be harder still.
Yeah, I mean, tires do even out at one point, so gosh, it's going to be so close at the end.
Did you think you were calling an F1 strategy race today, Hunter?
No, I didn't think I'd get myself into this with moving pieces of the playoff drivers, which I kind of expected, but not to this degree. I thought we'd get yellow after yellow after yellow in the late going because of the aggression level continuing to rise. 10 laps left on your season possibly being over. Garrett Conrath trying to pull off the upset and go from dead last to first in the point standings.
Wrecked to first in the race as well, so... remember, he was out a race and he had no choice but to win. And I mean, we're calling it right now. 18 seconds back to Jeremy Miller, who is in the 5th spot. That is the first driver who is 100% able to finish this thing out. 18 seconds, 10 laps, do the math. That ain't happening. And he can just putt around, and we were showing you repetitively the stats here. He's not going above 7,000 RPMs on corner entry. Let's go back to Jeremy Miller. How many RPMs is Miller pulling into the straightaways here? Are we going above 7,100? Answer, yes.
Close to 7,500.
175 miles an hour. Now let's see here, Conrath. Entry of 1, Miller was 175. Entry of 1, what's Conrath doing here? Well, actually, I guess he's, I don't know. Maybe the times we caught at the wrong time, but either way, maybe I got the speed wrong. But definitely the RPM significantly lower here. All right, let's this time by, we'll see. 182, I think it was. Yep, there it is. Yeah, you can tell about 2, maybe 3 miles an hour slower into the straightaway and about 200-300 RPM slower. And that is equating to about 1.6 seconds that last time by.
And not to mention, he's battling for position against Jonathan Evans for a top 5 spot. I think these two, did they not pit on the same lap? No, Evans actually pitted a lap later.
Yeah, 13 laps. Jake Nichols, the freshest tires.
Yeah, if the top 4 don't make it, then that would be presumably the battle for the win. Jonathan Evans and Jeremy Miller.
Yeah, because Weishart has already been passed. You could see 21 laps. He pitted super early. They saw that race was coming with the green flag flare, so they pitted super early, already paying the price for it. Here comes Seth Noel, Anna Sogak, Mercurio. And remember, if a caution does magically come out, there is a good portion of these drivers, about 6 or 7 of them, they don't have tires to change. They've already pitted and changed all 4 sets, but a good majority do have those tires on the wall to avail themselves to, as Casey Lakatos losing the spots. Again, he is on that hypermiling strategy and not having the luck with it. Ben Pierce will be next on the chopping block, and then Doug DeNice, who... I mean, I don't know if he'll hold on to second, but he's probably looking for at least a top 6, top 7 out of this. And then top of the shot, end of the straightaway, Garrett Conrath still holding 15 seconds on the competitors he has. I mean, he could even go 25% slower than he's going now and still maintain.
Yeah, it's getting to be a little too difficult for Jonathan Evans, Jeremy Miller, and actually Jake Nichols just passing the 30 in Miller now. Again, it will be a little too difficult for those guys to try and make up all that ground. So Miller's going to shove the 73 down the front stretch, try to make up some time. But, yeah, these guys are probably going to need a yellow to come out if they want to have any shot at winning.
Just this Auto Club Speedway, it has the propensity to do this. We see the 4 and 5 wide racing, but if there's one thing that Fontana, which is a short name for this place in Michigan, they always said you have to have power, you have to have handling, but you also have to have fuel mileage, because for some reason these 2-mile D-shaped ovals always had a propensity to have fuel mileage. The 1997, the inaugural race here, Napa Auto Parts 500, Jeff Gordon actually won it on a hypermiling strategy. Didn't even have the gas to make the cool down lap, ran out of gas, but won the race on fuel. They have the propensity to do it, and that's what we're seeing here today in the Area Truck Series. Again, if you're looking to support the league, you can go to shop.areairacing.com. High quality merch, low prices, 100 selection of t-shirts, hats, champion clothing, and other accessories. Shop.areairacing.com. Easy to shop, quicker to ship, better to wear. But you might be looking for some Garrett Conrath Championship 4 accessories here if 3 laps goes the way he likes it to.
Indeed, as Miller, Nichols, and Evans still, they're within 11 seconds now, but time is going to be a little too much for these guys to try and overcome, as Anna Sogak and Weiss are going to be duking it out. This is for a top 10 spot at the very end. Less than 3 to go from Auto Club.
And this is the battle for the emergency situation. If it happens, this is the emergency battle for the win. This is Evans and Nichols. I mean, Nichols already locked in on points. Evans out in the first round, and they are snaking down the straightaway here. They are having fun with it. The lead now sub 10 seconds, but even so, the hyper-miling king only needs to go 4 more miles. 5 seconds to second, about 9 seconds back to third. 2 more laps for Garrett Conrath to race for a championship.
Yeah, and Evans and Nichols, they're still battling for position, so they can... they're door-to-door right now, so Conrath is hoping that Vallo can continue. Gap's down to about 8 seconds. Evans trying to do all he can on the outside. Meanwhile, Nichols all the way on the bottom, trying to clear him on corner exit. He'll do just that, but it's still going to take a miracle for these guys to have a shot at Garrett Conrath. They might get to Ben Pierce. I don't know what his situation is. He's doing the same as Conrath, but gosh, it's going to be tight.
You know what? You don't want to cut him short here, because Ben Pierce, I mean, he could use the... No, he's aborting. Ben Pierce has to abort. He doesn't have enough, so does that mean Garrett Conrath has enough? Barney has the flag in hand. The white flag's out. We will finish this under green. About 1 3/4 of a lap left for Conrath to try to race for a title.
And not even that, Evans and Nichols, if something were to go amiss with Conrath, they're door-to-door for the second position right now. It could be for the win, but Conrath half a lap away from pulling off the upset.
Here he comes through the back straightaway. This is the battle potentially for the win. If he does not have enough fuel, they're battling, they're beating, they're banging, but coming off turn number 4, from last to first, from spin to win, strategy has the fuel. Garrett Conrath is going to race for a championship with the winning in here at Auto Club. Door to door.
At the line, they're going to touch, and Nichols is going to get second. Evans is going to get third. The 26 is going to spin across the track. Miller with a solid top 5, as is Seth Knoll as well. Unbelievable back-to-back nights. The driver entering tonight at Auto Club 8th in points goes to victory lane and punches their ticket into Charlotte for the championship 4.
Yeah, just look at this. Is again a reminder where we stood going in. 8th place, minus 70. He was not going to get himself in any other way. Timmy Pacioli, unfortunately, he was in 4th, and unfortunately for him, he will not transfer through. Of course, he had that pit mistake, but ultimately you couldn't have predicted what that 49 was going to do. You can see teammates there, Hendry County boys, just giving him the door tap and trying to represent them against the Garrett, quite literally, I guess, the Garrett and Goliath here tonight. Mercurio has obviously been a dominator, Jake Nichols, but Garrett Conrath hasn't had the stat sheet. He's been up front, but doesn't have the wins that the other drivers have, but gets it when it matters.
Yeah, unbelievable. I don't know. I'm trying to look at what we got for Thursday, because I don't think there's no way that they go 3 for 3 where the driver 8th in points wins, and that would be Travis Beckner. So Beckner is dead last in Pro Series points. He had a pretty solid night tonight in the trucks, but man, the story of the night is Garrett Conrath. He comes through, he wins, goes from 8th in the point standings to a championship 4 spot. He'll be going after the title with Jake Nichols, who finished 2nd, Seth Knoll 5th, Brian Mercurio 6th, But Evans and Miller, solid top 5 performances. Jake Fisher, Justin Sogak, Philip Groner, and David Weiss are rounding out the top 10.
And on Travis Beckner, 11th. Again, if he wants to continue the three-peat, he's going to have to find a way to win on Thursday. Couldn't do it here today. Batby, 12. Lakatos, the fuel didn't persevere as well for him in 13th. Valier Love. Mason Kane, he was someone to watch earlier. He made some interesting moves. 16th. Watersworth, Sunasak, Herschel, and Timmy Pacioli. Got to feel the heartbreak for him in 20th.
Yeah, then coming through for 21st, Josh Parrish, Jalen Hankamp, who we saw rip the top as much as he could, comes home 22nd. 23rd, Forrest Smith, Jeremy Brown, Lee Norton in the top 25, and then Doug DeNice, Ben Pierce, Alex Chilcutt, Garrett Grant, Tyler Holm in the top 30.
And just rounding things through, we got Brad Slaughter, Ryan Nowicki, Caden Diedrich, and Nico Servideo, the retirees here from the Auto Club Speedway. But let's head down to Victory Lane, where Garrett Conrath is going to be rather elated. Garrett, you got yourself in. You were 8th, 70 points out. A win was all it was going to be. It didn't look like it was going to happen on speed, but you did it on strategy. The hyper miling is going to get you a championship eligibility, man. How are you feeling right now?
Oh, feeling amazing. Yeah, I knew right when that last yellow came out that I knew you could make it if you saved about 3 laps of gas or something. I said, I have nothing to lose. I know I had to win. The only thing I'm going to do is do the opposite of everybody else. So I clutched it that whole last run and had one last drop there at the end.
You ended up getting, you still had plenty. I mean, you still had a 7-second buffer, but obviously you had that issue earlier in the race. I know your right front was ultimately, it was tore to pieces from what I remember seeing. So where did you kind of go from the emotions here today, from being in an issue, being in the back, and all of a sudden, all right, I still have a shot at it. How do you kind of balance that through the whole race?
Yeah, I knew even coming into the race I'd have to do something different. I was maybe a top 10 truck at best on speed, but then getting that damage really just kind of put me back. And from there, it was just kind of set the whole race up as best I could to try to get myself on a different strategy, and it played out perfectly.
All right, so now the obvious question is, what's that Charlotte truck like, man? Obviously, everyone has their certain fortes, certain tracks they like, certain tracks they just have to persevere through. Where does Charlotte stand on that spectrum for you?
Hit or miss track for me. I've done good there in the past, and sometimes I won't do good, but I feel pretty confident going into this time that it should be pretty good. All
right, well, we'll follow you there, see if you can take that title down to your teammates there and yourself. Any final words before we let you go?
Yeah, thanks Team Omer Travis and Low Dollar Racing and Hendry County Motorsports Park.
All right, absolutely there. So congrats on the win, and we'll see what you can do next week, man.
Thanks, guys.
Of course, that victory interview brought to you by Victory Fuel. You could celebrate with Garrett with your caffeine-free flavors: Throttle Punch, Purple Potion, Lucky Lemon, packed with electrolytes, charged with vitamins, and kid-friendly. Get 10% off your order with code Area iRacing at checkout. And now Hunter has caught up with second place. He's locked into the championship 4, and that's Jake Nichols in second.
Yeah, did their best Ricky Craven, Kurt Busch photo finish attempt with Jonathan Evans. I mean, that was a nail-biter towards the very end. We didn't know if Conrath was going to run out of fuel, and then presuming that happened, it would have been either you or Evans for the win. But you edged them out for second. Take us through your night in the 73 Chug.
Pretty good. I really like this track. It fits exactly how I want to drive it, pretty much. Like all season, I'm kind of worse on tire wear every single run compared to like Seth, for example. And tonight it's just clicked. I could just drive kind of the way I wanted, kind of semi like hard, not saving really, and I would always have better tire wear. And it's disappointing to not win because I felt like we were the best truck, but I mean, you'll still take a P2, same as last night, especially with getting some momentum toward the championship next week. But even then, just feeling like I was the fastest truck, that's definitely a good thing to have in your mind going into a championship race. So hopefully more of the same. It was fun battling with Jonathan there. A lot cleaner than some of the racing I dealt with last night, so we'll take it. Even with the door slams, you know, he got me down the back and I got him a little down the front, but it was good battling. So that's how you do it, where you're just trying really hard to beat the guy, but, you know, just not wrecking him pretty much. So either way, thanks to 609, we had a really good night overall. I think Seth got the most laps led. Obviously, Jeremy got a good finish, and myself, so it's worked out pretty good there overall. We were all pretty good. I think Philip got it around a top 10 as well, so pretty good night.
So yeah, you mentioned it. You ran Monday night, had some close encounters there. You ran tonight in the trucks, but you're also going to run Thursday and try to lock yourself in for the Pro Series Championship. What does this experience transition into? I know it's different for Cup and Truck, but just to have those two races under your belt heading into Thursday overall, how does that help you out for the Pro Series?
Well, if the car drives anything similar to these two, then I think we're in for a good race. We're in a little tighter of a position in regards to points, but I feel like there has been a little more spread in regards to finishes. Like, we've been finishing up front a lot recently, just not really getting the wins we felt like we should, or sometimes, other than obviously we got Bristol in the playoffs. But I think we'll be in for a good race. I'm hoping it feels similar to tonight. Honestly, tonight was similar to Monday or yesterday. Like, the way you drove it, and I think that's why it kind of clicked. I wasn't as good 1 and 2 as everybody, but 3 and 4, I felt like I was smoking them all. So hopefully it's more of the same. I think last time we went here in Xfinity, it was James Scully and I battling, and I got the win on him late with a last 3-lap pass or something. So hopefully we can do that, especially with 6 and 9 getting some team points. It'd be really cool. But either way, I think we'll be battling for the win for sure.
Another solid top 5 for the 73. It's Jake Nichols, and he'll be going after not only the Cup Championship, but the Truck Championship next week in Charlotte.
Thank you.
And we'll wrap up our post-race show here. Jonathan Evans with the third. Jonathan, you had, I think you probably passed more trucks than anybody here today, up and down all day, having issues in the pits, issues on the track, getting damage repaired. And then even so, you had yourself in position to win the race, but obviously hypermiling got the best of you there. But just kind of summarize your night for us, man.
Well, it started off good. Qualified pretty well. I think I was 6th, and here you just kind of want to get into the lead pack at least, because after a while it becomes very difficult to pass as long as you just keep your right front, as long as you just save it a little bit, you're going to be able to hold pace. And had a pretty good battle with Seth there, and then Jake and them obviously got past me. It was pretty difficult because Timmy and Brian were working together, and obviously Jake and Seth were working together, so I really didn't have any friends up there. And then the pit road thing happened with Timmy. I don't really think it was his fault. I had to brake for my pit stall, and his stall was right in front of me, and I thought I got the front end of my car into the lines before I broke, and I guess you just don't ghost there. So it was just kind of unfortunate. I wasn't really mad. And then when we had a caution, I think about 10 laps later, I just had to do something different than the field. I didn't save a set of tires, so it was a huge gamble, and I'm just happy that it worked. And I'm also kind of happy that Jeremy did the same thing, because we just worked together and got up through the field with our tire advantage. And then, obviously Garrett did a great job saving all that fuel, so shout out to him. That was pretty impressive, pretty good fuel save run from him. And then we had a great finish with Jake. I was trying to hold him. He had the tire advantage, and I was just driving the wheels off that thing, trying to hold him off. So all in all, a very good race. Disappointed I didn't get the win, of course, but it was a lot of fun. I love this place. Yeah,
well, obviously I was just going to lead into that. I know next, obviously in the Pro Series on Thursdays, you're kind of in a similar position. You're in the, I think you're 10th or so in the playoffs. I'm not going for the championship, but you could still have fun. And I imagine that the truck and the Xfinity, they're probably relatively-ish close here at Auto Club. Anything that you can take out of this strategy-wise, or anything that you could take out to maybe help you win on Thursday night?
Just how you want to race and positioning, because the cars are similar, but they're different. In the Xfinity cars, you don't necessarily have to save the right front as much, and depending on the track temp, if the track temp is how it was today, then you might even start leaning on the right rear a little bit. But what you can learn is just how to position yourself. The runs aren't as big, but you definitely get a good idea of what lanes work and how to complete a run. So yeah, I'm definitely just going to take that into Thursday, and hopefully have another good run. I'm really looking forward to that race.
Well, we are too. Saw a banger here today, and hopefully you guys can back it up for us on Thursday night. Congrats on the podium run, and we'll catch you in a few days.
Thank you, guys. Have a good one.
Too. Well, Hunter, glad to have you in for a last-second Tuesday broadcast. Rather, obviously a different style race than you were expecting, but an absolute thriller, and hopefully we can back it up with a similar one on Thursday night.
I'm sure it'll be backed up with that, but Travis Beckner going to have a lot on his plate, trying to be the perfect 3-for-3 guy guy entering Auto Club dead last in points, winning and advancing to the championship 4. That'll be a pretty fun script to write if that's possible. But overall fun truck race tonight. Had a lot of implications towards the very end with fuel mileage. Don't know if we'll get the same fuel mileage for Thursday. I think we might get a little more chaotic towards the end, but nonetheless, looking forward to Auto Club on Thursday.
Exactly the case here. And make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe here on PTR TV. If you're on Twitch, consider liking and subscribing there. You're $5 a month. We will be back here on PTR TV live tomorrow night, live on Thursday with the Florida State Pro Builders Series. And then the final week of area for the 2025 season will be next week, and we'll be back for the championship finales on Tuesday and Thursday. It's going to be Corey and Hunter signing out of the booth. Have a great night, and we'll catch you next time.